Tonganoxie in the middle of an urban weather riddle. It's Rhyme and Reason 911.
Here's your rhyme and reason. Oh yeah.
Hey there, Tony here. Yes, Tonganoxie is a real word, and it was actually the name of a very interesting character in Kansas. He was a guy who built a small log cabin on the bank of a small creek in Kansas in the early 1830s. Then the U.S. government built some other lodges in that area, and one of those lodges was actually named for Tonganoxie. But who in the world was Tonganoxie, and why does it matter? Well, I'm going to answer both those questions, but you should know ahead of time that you might not be satisfied with my answers. And if you're okay with that, keep listening. Tonganoxie was an Indian, not the kind from India, from the Delaware tribe. His real name was more like Tonganoxie. But you know how white folks are. They just can't leave out their privilege and their supremacy and all that kind of stuff. So Tonganoxie transformed into Tonganoxie. Yeah, I got to say, that rolls off the tongue a whole lot more easily. Anyway, Tonga Man was a member of the Turkey clan, and that's back before we used the word turkey as a, sort of a slur against somebody. Anyway, from what I've learned about him, he seemed to be a pretty good guy. He lived at that lodge the U.S. government built, and he operated it as a stage stop and inn. Evidently, U.S. mail arrived and passed through the lodge too. And apparently, he was given the title of the first postmaster. Pretty cool. Now, Mr. Noxie was also married, and he and his wife had his sister and his sister's children live with them. So he was a family guy. I read a short account of how Tonganoxie was known as a peaceful and kind man, and the story goes that he sheltered J.W. Golden, who with two friends was chased from Leavenworth by border ruffians. All three of those guys that Tonganoxie sheltered, they were shot less than a half-mile north of Tonganoxie's lodge. One of them died, and two played dead long enough for the ruffians to leave. Mr. J.W. Golden lived for several years and told how he was aided by Tonganoxie. That's how we know the story. And Tonganoxie left that area in 1863. According to the short article I read, he went to live with a nephew on allotted land in the Bonner Springs area. And the area that he left was named after him. Tonganoxie is a town called Tonganoxie. As a side note, the town of Bonner Springs was a place, Tonganoxie and Bonner Springs were places I used to drive through when I drove all around the Kansas countryside in my little 73 Maverick. And the little town of Bonner Springs really left an impression on me. So later on, when I got a beagle, I got a female beagle, and I named her Bonner. So there you go. There's that little story. So there's the answer to who in the world he was. Now, as to why it matters. Well, it's actually the town named after him is why I brought all this up. And you might have heard that Kansas is one of those states with more than its fair share of tornadoes. But you might not have heard of the Tonganoxie split. No, it's not a dessert. It's supposedly, quote, a phenomenon where storms and tornadoes coming across Kansas split north and south or dissipate as they reach Tonganoxie. And that tends to ensure that the Kansas City area is saved from the worst effects of that extreme weather. Now, would you believe that National Weather Service meteorologists, they don't even believe that the Tonganoxie split is a real thing? I know, it's crazy to think. But at least a couple of them don't. In fact, one of them was quoted as saying, "It's not been seen scientifically to have any real impact, and there are storms that go over there all the time." And the other meteorologist explained that people believe cities are less likely to be hit by tornadoes. But he said this is because cities just take up less land than rural areas. Yeah, I know. Again, it's more crazy talk. So I guess when it comes down to it, you just have to pick what you're going to believe, the so-called urban legends and myths, or so-called science. And sometimes towns and people just get caught in the middle, and then they have a lot in store. When you're really in the middle and you're feeling like a riddle and you start to get a little bit down, take your eyes off all your troubles, let them float away like bubbles. When they pop, then I bet you can't frown. When you think your life is rotten, all the good things have been gotten, and the world's taken more than it gives, start to laugh and start to winkin'. You can stop that stinking thinking. That's the way that a happy kid lives. Yeah, your face might get all flappy when you walk around so happy, but your life is gonna mean much more. Now go be a sparkling fountain or a bright light on a mountain, 'cause your maker's got a lot in store. There you go, some rhyming from right in the middle of the Tonganoxie split. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to the Rhyme and Reason podcast. Don't forget to go over there and support our sponsor, TonyFunderburk.com. It's a coincidence, just a coincidence. Just leave your name, email a name or email or whatever it is there, and make me send you some complimentary goodies, and I'll do that right away. Until next time, remember, life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're here. Give it time and see.